Well, good morning. It's at Love Clark, and as you may see, got one little bastard. These traps designs are pretty old actually. And they've been around a long time. But let me tell you what, you know how to set it and bait it, right? You get that bastard every time. Every time. These things are pretty effective. I didn't want to set the glue ones up because I got the glue ones too. Because I knew that with these we wouldn't need the glue ones. My wife says it's more humane than the sticker ones. None of it's humane. All we're doing is just getting something out of something that we don't want in our life. We're not trying to, I feel bad about the mice. I really do, actually, because it was a whole family, and it was a family of mice, and we even killed the babies. I think this is maybe a mama or dad. There was babies. They died. I thought we got them all. I guess we didn't. And here's another one in testament to the good old mousetrap that's been around for a long time. Victor, it's called. V for victory. Well, it's at Love Clark, and I just want to endorse these good old wooden mouse traps. Because we had a little mouse problem for a second, and they're being snuffed out with these little wire, little landmines without explosions. They're, they work good, and I know I sound kind of excited that I, killed the mouse. I'm really not, actually. It's kind of, I'm more excited by the technology that is used, and the innovative way that they use to get rid of them. But I don't like having to kill the mouse. But it can't be in the house because it's going to get droppings or spread disease, and can't allow that. So it's a good thing that we're Adamite, children of Adam. We got all promises, and we got all... we have absolute authority over anything that creeps and crawls underneath our feet on the earth. We are the masters of our domain, but that doesn't mean we should abuse it. And I don't believe in hunting for sport. I've got relatives that do hunt for sport. I know I'm changing the subject, but I just want it goes with the whole situation. You got relatives that hunt for sport, and that's all good. But they eat the meat, and they use the fur. There's not one bit of meat wasted. They don't just go and, kill a deer and then cut the head off and throw away the rest or whatever you want to do. Those relatives that I do have that hunt, my in-laws and my own relatives do it. But they eat the meat, and they use the fur. And, so, we don't believe in hunting, and we don't want to encourage that. We liked the fact that this mouse had to die, but we are allowed to have dominion over all the animals. So, I think it's just within the balance that we're allowed. We can't abuse that. We're not supposed to abuse that. And Native Americans, they knew a lot about that. There wasn't one part of anything that they hunted that wasn't used. They even used the bones. They used every bit. I think it was like a sin, especially with the Five Nations, Iroquois, and Seneca, those type of Indians in the Northeast. They never wasted one bit of anything that they procured from hunting. Every bit was used. It was a sin for them not to, and pretty much, yeah. We might go into more understanding of the Senecas and the Iroquois They have a fascinating history with America that's hidden. A lot of people just ignore it or don't understand it. And I know I'm going from a mousetrap to Native Americans, but I think we're going to start addressing Native Americans because we've been talking about reparations for black people. And what about the people that are here? We're here when we either say we're stole this land or we're blessed by it, or however you want to put it. It was procured, okay? Whether it was God willing, God not willing, white devils, whatever, you know, and I understand why the natives have the hatred today. We have built this hatred upon ourselves, white people. White people done this. Let's face the facts. Quit trying to sit there and, you know, say you're this and that, you're so supreme and everything. Supreme people also have to admit their faults to become higher up in their knowledge and understanding of reality. So we're going to start talking about Native Americans, and I think I'm going to read Frederick Douglass, the life of Frederick Douglass, so we can know what life as a slave was like. And, you know, a lot of you are white saying, I don't give a shit about a black or a slave or an Indian or anyone else that's not white. Well, that's your choice, and that would be your opinion. But what I think is interesting is the fact that they all want to talk about moving forward with these people, and they haven't even faced the reality of what they've done to them. They are not being honest about the reality that they've created. Now you've made it where white people that are intelligent don't want nothing to do with taking away a nation, or don't want nothing to do with enslaving a people. Now we're stuck with the responsibility of the things you don't want to face and say you're not responsible for. Yes, you're not personally responsible, but let's pick up the pieces where our ancestors messed up and be honest about what happened, okay? Why the hell are people angry, blacks and Native Americans and anyone that's treated indifferent? It's because the way that we've done to them. Don't be so ignorant. Open up your dang gum brains, man. You know? I'm not saying that you have to go have white guilt. What I am saying is, let's face the reality, what we've made, what we created. Okay? And what we need to get rid of. Because I don't see any peace. I don't see the peace in this country ever happening unless either people's minds wake up and change, which that's not happening, or we just go the route of segregation. I know that sounds ridiculous. I know that sounds crazy. I know a lot of people are like, no, I don't want to. Well, it's better for everybody, my opinion, segregate, because then you'll rule your community, we'll rule ours, and you do your thing, we do ours. You police your people, we police our people. There's no more of this violence, bigotry, and you can't scream all this stuff, you know. But it's a mental trap, and you know, this is a mental trap, okay, that people are in. That is not all just the white devils, okay, that perpetrated this. There is real victims, although most of the time all they do is whine. Okay, that's what's wrong with blacks, is they just whine all the time, but they don't do anything. Just like the daggum whites. It's the same thing, we're mirroring each other. Angel Snups'n'Zups, or whatever his name is, he says the same thing. These black people are thinking that they're all so different, pro-black, and they don't even realize that they're programmed, and that hatred that comes out of them and a lot of that stuff might be in their DNA, but a lot of it is predisposed. It's already, it's brainwashed into them from birth because of the way we teach history incorrectly and the way that they've been handled in the past as slaves. So it's a mind trap. And this is a mouse trap. See? Wouldn't it be nicer if we had a little trap, like a little box they could put them in, not a jail, temporarily, and then take them and free them somewhere where they can go, where there's lots of other mice in a safe place that they can live without the oppression of the human over them. Well, if the mouse stopped entering the houses of people without permission and stealing their food and stealing things that they don't deserve or they didn't work for, then maybe we wouldn't have to set these kind of traps. But if we had a heart, we'd build the one that was, the mouse would still live, and we'd go set him free somewhere. But we don't give a shit about the mouse. I care about the animal dying, but I not over my family or children, my own. So that's the reality of nature, though. That's the law of nature, and you're not going to get around that, no matter what race you are. You got to change inside your mind, but some people are programmed with DNA that makes it very difficult to comprehend what I'm trying to say, and that's alright. Some get it, some don't. And this mousetrap is the same thing as a mind trap. This symbolizes. This could symbolize all the sabotage the blacks say happens from the whites. This mouse can represent the blacks. Okay, in a way. I know that sounds really degrading, but this is how the whites treat the blacks. Here's something. Here's something to snack on. Here, have some. Ooh, look at that little bug. See? Extermination going on in this house. But here's a little snack. Here's a little something. And it's bait to destroy, eliminate, and erase, or twist the mind into thinking that's worth it when it's not. So it is a mind trap. First, it traps the mind by seeing the food there and smells it. It follows its nose and then takes a bite, and just like in the garden, is the end of it. Sorry, little mouse, but you came in my house. I built this house. You didn't build it. You didn't roll over me. I rule over you. You came into my house to steal without permission. I had every right to kill your ass. And even under the authority of God, or not under the authority of God, just common sense and natural law. Anyway, this is kind of like a shout out. It was longer than I thought. Turned into a rant. It's for Angel Snup and Nup, or Seven, or whatever his name is, the reality church on earth. Okay? Because there's a common duality that's very strange between me and you. I never met you and listened to your videos and found them fascinating. And I wanted to reflect honestly from the white person's perspective, whether you want to think I'm a devil or I'm not a devil. So it's a shout out to you. I'd like to actually have a video conversation with you one day, and I'm gonna make another shout out to invite you. So let's go Skype or something, okay? Let's have a little sit down. If you even sit down with people you may consider devils, you might find out they're not all devils.